This week, we're going to finish the book of Leviticus. We read 2 Torah readings, the first of which is called Behar, which means on the mountain. So we know that God gave the Torah to Moses on Mount Sinai, and that Moses then teaches this Torah to the people as we sojourned in the desert. In this week's Torah portion of Behar, we're taught about the laws of Shemitah. Shemitah is the year where we release the land. Every 7 years, the land has to lie fallow. We don't plant it, we don't reap from it, we don't cultivate it, we don't work the land. It becomes a time where the land is laid fallow. Also, it's a time where we don't exert ownership over the land. So the poor and animals and anyone can come onto the land and take from what's there. They can take from the trees and the vines and the fields. They can take whatever they want. It becomes somewhat essentially ownerless. Other places in the Torah, we also learn that in the Shemitah year, all debts are forgiven. We learned that indentured servants are set free if they want to. And it's also a time where the Jewish people are enjoined to gather in the temple in Jerusalem to hear the whole Torah being read. We're going to connect ourselves to God through the Torah every 7 years by reading the whole thing out loud. In this week's Torah portion, we also learn about the Yovel year, which is the Jubilee year, and that happens in the 50th year. So after 7 cycles of Shemitah year, so 7 times 7 is 49, in the 50th year, it's called the Yovel year. Again, it's a year of release. It says on the Liberty Bell, a quote from this week's Parshat, to proclaim freedom throughout the land for all its inhabitants. It's a year, the Yovel year is a year where all indentured servants go free. Even if you wanted to stay as a servant, you have to go free, and the land reverts back to its ancestral ownership. So you may have been on the land for 40 years, but now in the 50th year, it has to go back to its ancestral ownership. And what this is pointing, says Rabbi Sachs, is that we, people, have no absolute ownership over anything. That God created the world, that God created land, that God created the physical world, the spiritual world, that God blows a soul into us, that we don't own our own lives. We don't own anything, absolutely. It's all entrusted to us as a gift. So we get to redistribute that gift, that wealth. When we acquire things, it's for us to use well. It's for us to share with other people. So what do we take with us? What do we actually own? If we don't own our houses, we don't own our cars, we don't own anything. So spiritually, we own that which we have given away. When we do good deeds, when we acquire a good name for ourselves, when we're kind to people, when we bring light and holiness into the world, that's what we acquire and that's what we take with us. So we are enjoined to use all of our gifts for good.